This is going to be tough. Welcome back, everybody, to Rantpocalypse Talks The Walking Dead. I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Kelly, and we are a mother and son Walking Dead chatting duo and crying duo at this point.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the toughest conversation that we're probably ever going to have on The Walking
Right.
Dead going forward now till, until Rick Grimes himself dies or
I
something. I
hope this
mean,
is the toughest conversation we have.
yeah, me too. We're here to give you our thoughts, our first impressions on The Walking Dead season 7 premiere, which was entitled "The Day Will Come When You Won't Be." And indeed, I don't think the day. Every time when it gets close to the season premieres of The Walking Dead, we're super happy. We're excited. We're like,
Right,
yes, our favorite zombie show, our
right.
favorite family of TV show characters is back. And today is definitely the day that
We
that
won't be.
came that
Right,
I'm not
right.
happy for it to be back.
And it
And
was funny because I kept, for months, I was super excited. And
yeah.
then I this whole weekend, I was just like, nope, I really am not. I thought I was prepared, but I knew I wasn't going to be prepared because I was afraid that this is where they were going to go with a totally brutal way that they did this. That was horrible. That was just horrible.
It was really horrible. I've got this shirt on. You got Lucille Sluggers. I
Yeah.
almost wanted to rip it off and burn
I
it.
I know. I was like, fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Like big fuck you, Negan.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man. Like
I
that was
thought you
rough.
were charming, you fucking bastard.
Exactly. And then also, in case you're wondering why my mom is in a different spot, it's because we watched it live over Google Hangouts and everything. So you had to get the nice comfy spot
I know.
for the watch.
It's really weird though for me to try to. I'm like, all. This
Yeah,
is not where I
fidgety.
normally do videos.
Yeah, I know. I had my super comfortable chair, but it's super loud, so I try to get rid of that chair when I do videos because otherwise it's just squeak,
Yeah,
and
it does make a
they
lot of
sound like
noise.
I'm passing gas the entire time. So, but yeah, I was looking at some quotes before this episode aired, and Robert Kirkman said this moment changes absolutely everything going forward. And Andrew Lincoln, I think this might have been during the journey so far or
Right.
whatever that
Right.
little special was called. He said that he's never been so powerless having to submit. He said, I feel like this is the first time Rick has felt truly powerless. And
And that's one of
it
the things
was
that
rough.
you and I were talking about while we were watching it, because we never get to watch it. Very rarely do we get to
Yeah.
watch it together, even though we did it in a weird way. It was still fun for us
This
to
trying
do.
to sync it
I
up
know,
is
trying to
a
sync up the audio.
nightmare.
Yeah, it was horrible to do, but we'd never seen Rick look like that. I mean, he looked like every other scared son of a bitch in the
Yeah.
zombie apocalypse.
Uh,
Um,
Imagine back just last season to Carter, and the facial expressions that Carter
yes,
had whenever he was being eaten and everything, and he was just terrified and he wouldn't shut up,
right.
because Rick's like shut up, and I mean that's just one of the many characters that we've seen that on the other side of it, and to see Rick that way was just it was so rough. I don't want to ever
I
see
mean,
that again.
Rick has been, for a long time, Rick hasn't been the good guy. None of our
No.
people have been, the good guys. But they look like choir boys
Yeah.
compared to the shit that I mean, Negan, it's one thing to be protecting your people and kill others. Uh, but to just bash somebody's head in and then decide, you know,
Oh, you
they
fucked up.
yeah,
Number two, who's in the batter's box, basically. Like, I mean, that was just thinking about it, and I'm sorry, this isn't going to be our normal top three, or
mm,
because honestly, this could be a not top 10
right.
from this episode because there were so many things that were just absolutely soul crushing that happened. Of course, if you saw it, obviously you did. We lost Glenn, we lost Abraham. That was the the two deaths that were rumored.
Right.
And I will say I am a little ticked off that that did get spoiled out there. Now I didn't want to believe it, and I was going into this episode completely blocking everything out,
Yeah.
and like there, because earlier this morning I did see some stuff that it's Maggie. There was a leaked little dill video, whatever, of that Maggie getting her head bashed in, which of course that did
She
happen
did.
in
She
this
did.
episode.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Do you think it helped hearing about that rumor so much that it was Abe and Glenn, that it affect you as much? Because that's what the first thing I was honestly going to ask you is, how do you feel at this, in this moment right now after having seen all of that?
Well, um, again, I didn't fit any. Sorry. I feel like, I mean, that was who really, in all honesty, that was who we thought that was going to be who got it,
Yeah,
because of, we felt like Glenn was going to, because of the comic book, and
yeah,
Scott Gimple has gone where he's pretty faithful to what's happening in the comic book.
yeah.
Um,
That son
Even
of a
though I
bitch.
know, motherfucker, you could have deviated this one time.
Yeah,
Pull out Dwight and bash his head in.
yeah.
Not only am I a totally unreasonable guy, but I'm also kind of reasonable, and I will kill one of my own to make it even. So you can see we can be buddies. I mean, they could have gone that direction, but
Yeah.
no. I still don't think even. I still wasn't. I mean, you could watch our reaction video. We weren't prepared even when it happened. Did
Oh, not at all. It was, whenever Abraham got it, it was brutal. I didn't think that he was going to get it because of those rumors. We had talked about it numerous times in the off season, and even like right after the episode aired, that you just felt that Abraham was going to step up for the group.
right?
He is a true badass in every sense of the word, and he was going to take one for the team in this moment. And I loved whenever he said, "Suck my nuts."
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
fuck you,
Yeah.
Negan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He was the only one that was bowed up and continued to have that. I'm better than you to
I'm
me.
not. Yeah, I'm not scared of
I'm
you.
not
Like,
afraid of you. Yeah. And we also talked about the fact that we thought part of that also came from, well, that's who Abraham is,
yeah.
but also being so much in love with Sasha and feeling like he had a future with her. I feel like a lot of it was he wanted to protect her.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I mean, he definitely he wanted to protect her, but it was just really rough because if you watch them back to back, the
Hmm.
finale and the premiere, which now it is really nice to be able to see the continuation and everything. And I know everybody was super pissed off. We were one of the people that were a little bit upset as well that they just cut it off like that. I I still, it's fine because what we got was a really shitty episode in the sense of it really hurt inside, but
Hmm.
it was a really damn good episode.
Oh yeah.
Like one
I
of the best episodes that we've seen of The Walking Dead, I think, from beginning to end.
Right. Oh yeah. I saw on Twitter, one of the things that we said was trending was, basically fuck Daryl.
Yeah.
Everybody was pissed off, but that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is just solidified his Emmy in this
Oh
episode.
man. I'll be pissed though if he gets an
I
Emmy
will too.
and Andy Lincoln does
Has
not get
not.
an
I know.
Emmy. I mean the
The
everything about his face, the visuals, the emotions, just everything that he portrayed in this episode was just it was top notch. I'm like,
Yeah.
motherfucker deserves
I
an
know.
Emmy. Like it's about time to whatever it is that they have against The Walking Dead, get off your fucking high
I
horses.
don't understand it. I never
Yeah.
have. And now I feel like now they're it's gonna be that much further away just because they're going, this is a horror show. Look how gory this was. Look how, you know, I don't know. I
It
just
was insanely brutal. Like
It
I
was.
honestly did not expect AMC to go to those links. I don't know why I didn't because we've seen some very brutal walker kills, but to see
When
two of
that
our
bat
favorite characters.
hit Abe the second time it hit Abe, and I mean we just got that full on shot of I mean he already had blood on
Yeah.
his head, and then just to ah I felt it.
Yeah. No, I definitely felt it too. It was just rough seeing those two get killed. I mean, it was rough seeing Abraham just because he is such a badass, and I really, really wanted to see him continue on and be in all out war that's to come, and just to see this beast of a man, take on Negan and his men, because there's nobody else like him in Rick's group. I mean, we already lost Tyrese, and like Abraham was the other just rock solid
Right,
dude,
right.
and he would have bashed some heads, and it would have been amazing to see it. And that scene at the end, I mean, Jesus, that
Well,
was so
yeah.
rough.
Did they have to do that to us? Because it was bad enough to watch them die, but then to get that, where you hear Jeffrey Dean Morgan saying, "What did you think that you guys were going to live happily ever after?" and blah blah blah, and that table and everybody's in these light colors and everyone looks happy and wonderful, and Glenn's sitting there with his son sitting in his lap, and uh, Abraham and Sasha are sitting there together. Sasha was pregnant. Um, I, that's when that really got me.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, you see them at the end of the table like that, and they're just. I love the look that Abe, like they were so happy, like they were just smiling, they were looking at each other. It was just great.
Yeah.
Like it was a great image, but it was also just a horrible image for us as the fans to see. I mean, that's the last image that we are going to see of Glenn and Abe on the show.
I'm glad though that they gave us that instead of our last being image of them with their heads smashed into the dirt.
Um, yeah, that's true. I guess we did have that at the complete end, but
I
I'm
just
gonna miss him.
I
I'm
am
gonna miss
too.
him.
I'm especially for me, Glenn. I'm gonna
Oh,
miss him. Uh, the hope that we had with him and Maggie.
see,
I'm glad that's what you were trying to do, because I couldn't figure out what that meant. That was that you.
sorry, I had to bring in a little bit of lightness with my socks, but yeah, no, I mean Glenn is as you know, Glenn is my all-time favorite character. When I read issue 100, I was devastated. I've told the story many times. I was on a flight to San Diego Comic-Con, my first ever time going to Comic-Con. I was so happy, and I was so excited because like The Walking Dead, I love it so much, and I was like, we're gonna get to see all these Walking Dead people, and then I get on the plane and I read that god
Yeah.
dang comic book, and I was devastated for that day. It was just such a brutal moment, and they portrayed it very similarly in this episode. The part where Glenn's got his eyeball kind of almost falling
Oh my
out.
God. And what was he saying to Maggie? I'll wait for you, or
I
uh,
think he said, "I'll find you.
I'll find
I'll
you.
find you."
Which, I mean, once you get your head bashed in like that, and you're not going to be maybe thinking coherently, um, but that was just the way he tried. He hung on and hung on. He took it like a champ.
He
Sorry, I
did.
shouldn't have said that because that was Negan what that said that, but still, I was like, oh my God.
No, I know. It was, yeah.
Okay, and so what did you think about the whole? I know we were freaking out while we were watching it. Rick,
Oh,
with the possibility that Rick was going to have to chop off Carl's hand.
it was rough. This entire episode, the way that the storyline played out with, you know, putting the flashbacks into the narrative of basically, Rick being taken to this place that we saw in the season 6 finale, and it's like weaving everything together with what's going on in the present with the past, and then when they come back there, it was just everything about it was brutal because you're just seeing Rick being completely emasculated
Mm-hmm.
throughout the entirety of this episode, and that was like just the icing on the cake
Yeah.
of you're going to make me cut off my own son's hand in order to save these other people that he loves as well. But this is his boy. This is Carl, and fuck, Negan is ruthless. Like I will give it to Gimple and Nicotero because that's who wrote and directed this episode.
Mm-hmm.
They did a masterful job with the writing for Negan's character. I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan obviously delivered on the lines and the script and everything because I hate him. I hate him to my inner core. Like I want to set that dude on fire
I
right
know,
now.
which is terrible because we always talk about people that are so horrible to the actor because
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
character. But
yeah.
right now at this point, it's like you made my man have a snot bubble
Oh,
on camera, so that was,
it was extremely rough at that point whenever he completely breaks him
yeah,
because I love the line that he said that trip was about the way you looked at me,
yeah.
and it was all about that he just didn't see it in Rick's eyes yet that he needed to be completely broken.
It's hard to see it in Rick's eyes when he says, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah,
Maybe not today, maybe not
not
tomorrow.
but someday.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, man, it was completely it was everything that I thought it would be,
and more.
and it devastated
I
me.
know.
Like it's going to be extremely rough to pick up the pieces for not only us as the fans, but obviously the characters on the show. I don't know where they go from here other than just being beaten down one episode after another for quite some time because they're they're broken right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I did like the shots of Sasha and Rosita, even though Rosita was still kind of giving her like a not a super nice look when they were over Abraham's body.
Oh no, they
Uh,
were holding hands.
yeah, I know they were holding hands, but I don't know. Hopefully, I like that they held hands and I like
Hmm.
they came together. There was another part that I really liked as well was Maggie, her, giving the speech like we're gonna fight, we're gonna, you gotta go get ready because we're gonna kill these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And I really love that about Maggie, and I love that they changed a little bit up. This is a mini mild spoiler alert. They changed a little bit up from the comics because
Okay.
immediately after Glenn dies in the comic, Maggie is not happy with Rick whatsoever. Like she is super pissed off at him. But I'm wondering if they changed that storyline up to kind of go with Daryl,
But
even though she wasn't able to say anything to Daryl because he got taken away.
she acted like she was super upset when they were taking Daryl. I mean,
Yeah, she
she
did.
started breaking down, and I
Yeah,
thought, wow, we had just gone to this place already that we were blaming him
yeah,
because if Daryl hadn't have bowed up after Abe
yeah, and punched him.
and punched Negan, then he wouldn't have had to have killed that second person. Now, of course, Negan didn't say it had anything to do with somebody else in the group. He did say that it was just strictly with because of Rick. And he's probably right. Rick's face wasn't, you kill one dude, he might have still looked a
Yeah,
little still like that blue fire in his eyes that says, I'm gonna burn you alive.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
It's just it's hard to put things into words right now, and this is obviously why this is our first impressions. We're gonna come back and we're gonna do our predictions for next week in another video. We're gonna take a look at the teaser trailer that they showed at the end of the episode and just kind of see if we can formulate some thoughts on what may happen next. But for me, this sucks. I I don't I don't like thinking about a world without Glenn in it. He is that ray of hope, and you were talking about it, him and Maggie together. It's I mean, in Abraham, losing Abraham to me, we're losing a lot of funnies.
All
that
the
came along with Abe.
yes, all the levity, all the great little sayings. I mean, who's gonna say those now?
They haven't in the comic book. There's never been another Abe.
Really?
Like there, nope. So that really sucks because you think about a show like The Walking Dead and how depressing it can be
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. I mean, right now we're really in depressing moments. It gets depressing a lot, but this is by far the most depressing
Who
I
would have
think that it's been.
who would have ever thought we could be more depressed than we were? Given the fact though that we've had a few some well, I take that back now that I think about season 6. No, there was only a couple of teeny tiny moments of hope during that season because
Yeah,
shit kept happening and happening and happening, and this is worse than all this shit that happened.
yeah.
So,
No, this is definitely worse by far. It's going to be rough. So if you were to have to give this episode a rating out of Bacon's,
I obviously the episode was so well done. Everything about it was well done. It was the actors, the directing, the lighting, the everything was it was 5 bacons. It
yeah, the
was
fog machine was on point
that
in
was
this episode.
crazy. The fog just gave it such a interesting atmosphere. So,
Yeah, like it was so weird because you're out in the open, but it felt so
mhm.
claustrophobic in that within all that fog. And I mean, shit, I thought Rick was a goner there for a second. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm like, these bastards are gonna try. I mean, I know they would. I know that they're not gonna do that. So you don't have to
Oh
put in the
no
comment
no
box or anything.
no,
I'm not talking
I
about you,
know. I
but
know, but you're right. I mean, I was going, they're going to kill him off. They are going to change it from the comic book completely. He's
yeah,
holding on to this walker that its neck is stretching, and he's falling into a bunch of other walkers, and it's like, oh my God, this is incredible.
yeah.
So,
I will say if we had to pick out any top moments,
hmm
that one where he rips his neck off and
oh,
it just and he falls and the nasty neck guy that he like ripped it off or something that was disturbing.
oh,
That was
yeah,
really disgusting.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
there was some
that was
great
nasty.
walkers.
Good on you, Nicotero. You are the master
hmm
of the zombies and everything. I'm with you. It definitely a 5 bacon episode for me. It was a masterful premiere. I I didn't want it. I didn't
Yeah.
want it. But you can't deny to me that it wasn't a great episode.
hmm
I love the way that, like I said earlier, the way that they weaved all the storyline together. I thought was brilliant. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it
I
at the
know.
same
I
time.
know. It's like how do you say you enjoyed it?
But
But you were entertained.
I really hated it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna miss Abraham, and I'm gonna miss Glenn tremendously. Uh,
I would pour
yes,
this out, but it would hit my couch.
yeah, it'll hit my
Yeah.
pants and my floor.
Yeah.
So it's to you
Yeah. Yep.
guys. Well, I think that's all we have for right now. We hope that you can find a little bit of solace in this discussion. I mean, I know it's just us rambling on about a show that we love.
Misery loves company. So
Yes,
we are miserable with you.
yeah, truly miserable. So make sure you hit subscribe, and we would love it if you like this video, so that way other people can see it and maybe can join us as we chat about The Walking Dead each week. And we'll be back later on this week with our predictions for next week's episode. And you can check out our podcast. It's The Ranting Dead, and you can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or at rantpocalypse.com. And I believe there's a link in the description below. So go check that out. And if you need somebody to, to cry on their shoulders, we are here for you.
Yep. Hit us up on Twitter.
Yes. All right. We love you all, and we will see you soon.
Good night.